You've been thinking about your mortality a lot lately, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, you turn 70, and you can't run from it.
Ah, fuck, I was hoping you could.
Norm Macdonald is my favorite comedian of all time. And by the end of this video, I'm going to show you why I think he's one of the best to ever do it, one of the most influential, why I think his comedy was the perfect fit for Generation X, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the ever-growing Norm Macdonald fandom that's both unique and endearing, and I think quite a fitting tribute to Norm. I hope you stick around, and please think about liking and subscribing if you like this video.
You'll see him coming up after the break. He doesn't want to say much. He's just getting ready, concentrating, studying his act. I feel it.
I first saw Norm Macdonald on the MTV half-hour comedy hour in the early 90s. I was only a senior in high school, but I'd already seen a decent amount of stand-up, I guess, because of the big boom then, and I just thought he was probably the funniest stand-up I had ever seen at that point. And nothing ever happened since to change my mind about that, to be honest.
Well, the other day I was having a dream of, I was in a pool with Christy Brinkley. You know, we were approaching each other there, and and then I woke up. Then I was trying to fall asleep there, and ended up shooting pool with David Brinkley.
I spent the rest of my senior year telling the same old Norm jokes to anyone who'd listen.
And hitting the shelves next week, Simpsons' newest video, Dorf on Stocking. The crowd is torn.
I've spent the rest of my life telling the same old Norm Macdonald jokes over and over, and I know I'm not the only one. Norm's fandom continues to grow even after his passing, and it's certainly risen to the level of meeting Jonathan Swell's criteria for a discourse community.
Sure, I knew that. And so after as soon as you said that first word,
we've got a place to meet. We have our own jargon, code words like Albert Fish.
This guy's a real jerk.
Old Chuck of Coal.
I'm just an old chunk of coal.
Frank Stallone.
Tell the folks at home.
I Found Your Son. So the Germans would have us believe. Underneath the Queensboro Bridge. Jew in a Doghouse. Professor Logic, the more I hear tell of. Battle Axe reminds me of that tragedy. And finally.
She was a good girl. Mama's apple pie. The 4th of July. She was a hooker!
She's a hooker! We also tend to share a set of core values, and I think those are important to understanding why people, and especially people of Generation X, love Norm so much.
So many people like pretend that they don't give a fuck, you know, both in my business and in other businesses. You got the, I don't give a fuck. Hey, you know me, I don't give a fuck. You know, those people that advertise them. Like, that guy clearly, in the best way, didn't give a fuck. He really cared about people and stuff, but like he did what he wanted to do.
He expressed himself how he was really thinking. Like, the way he would, like, he would say something fucked up to you in the green room, he would say the exact same thing on stage. It was just
really?
Like, and he would say, he had this way of looking at things that was absolutely unique to him.
He would do jokes that he knew were going to get nothing.
Yeah.
If he thought the joke was worthwhile, he didn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that is very uncommon. That is very...
Well, he never pandered.
He didn't pander at all.
We'll get to all of that in just a minute. First, let's take a look back. After a few performances and amateur nights at Yuck Yucks in Ottawa, Canada, Norm got a big break when he was asked to perform on Star Search in 1986.
I went to buy a dog. This guy tried to sell me the most killing dog in the world, a big pit bull. $600 pit bull, you know? And I don't want to buy that, you know? $600. Holy cow. You know, guy says, this dog will protect your valuables. You know, I don't even have any valuable, you know? I mean, I buy the pit bull. That would be the most valuable thing I own, right there.
It was there he met his greatest foe, the Bushman. The Bushman was a stand-up comic from Liberia. I haven't been able to find out a whole lot more about him other than it looks like he did fall on some hard times. I don't want to accidentally exploit anyone or anything, so let's just take a look at the results.
A long-time distinguished actor originally from England, currently the star of the ABC hit series Mr. Belvedere.
Hey, man, you know Belvedere? I'll tell you something about Belvedere you might not know. I go, what's that? He goes, he loves fried mozzarella. He said, you got to stop feeding Belvedere. And I said, man, he likes it.
Please welcome Christopher Hewitt. In international comedy competition, the challengers are from Canada, Norm Macdonald, from Liberia, Bushman, and from Australia, Discourse.
It always looks bad when they lose, you know. So another tough decision for the judges.
Another hard decision for the judges. Let's see what it is. From Liberia.
And the rest is history. Bushman went on to be a huge star, and we never heard from Norm Macdonald again. I'm just kidding, of course, or why else would I be doing this video? We all know that Norm went on to have a career that any stand-up would be proud of.
Yeah, I gained 45 pounds.
Are you okay? Yeah, what's going on?
I'm doing it for a movie.
For what role? What's the role?
What are you playing, Jackie Gleason?
It wasn't a particular role, but I figured they always need a big fat guy in a movie. Turns out they don't. They have plenty of fat guys that are much more experienced at acting and at being a fat guy than I am.
Fat guy roles aside, Norm created beloved cult classics like Dirty Work.
Dirty Work. To my listeners, I challenge you guys to go watch the movie Dirty Work.
We hide these fish all over the house, and they'll stink for days. Okay, let's go.
Dirty Work is
Kevin, I love this.
Pound for pound, one of the funniest movies you will ever fucking see.
Smells like fish in here. What is that? What was that? Some sort of signal? Huh? Show these guys what we do to cops.
Say hello to the devil for me! Behind you!
Canucci! Now you're killing me with that chainsaw!
He took away my chainsaw, and now he's using it on me!
The Norm Show ran for 3 seasons, and I think it's way better than most people gave it credit for.
Just give me the dog, okay?
No, you gave him up. He's my dog now.
You can't take my dog.
Oh, really, huh? We're social workers, pal. We can take children.
There was also A Minute with Stan Hooper. It may not have lasted long, but it was very funny and had the potential to be an all-time classic if Norm would have gotten his way.
I was on
the Stan Harper Show.
It's Hooper. Stan Hooper.
Yes.
A Minute with Stan Hooper. One of the funniest shows.
Anyways, at the end of the first season, which we never got to, my wife was going to be brutally murdered.
And Stan Hooper?
Yeah.
Like our good friend Gilbert Godfrey, Norm's unique voice made him a shoo-in for great voice acting roles. And even when his projects were hampered by bad corporate decision-making,
They had Norm Macdonald, who's like the most eclectic fucking Renaissance mad mind, hosting a goddamn sports show. That was their idea. That's called putting somebody in a fucking harness. He's hosting a goddamn sports show. Of course, that wasn't. Sports is one of the many. He doesn't even like sports. He just likes gambling, so he knows a lot about sports.
he was still funny.
Cameron Diaz is developing a movie that would take place in the world of Major League Baseball, and she wants her boyfriend, Yankee slugger Alex Rodriguez, to star in it. You can read my review for the film in Norm Macdonald's Suicide Note.
Norm might not have had the mainstream success that some of his contemporaries did, or that many of us think he should have had, but it wasn't because of his work ethic as some briefly speculated. It was more because of his ethics. Norm didn't pander. He didn't do comedy that he didn't think was funny just to make money.
He was the purest version of Don't Say This. And then he would find the most brilliant way to do it. He was a wordsmith.
Norm's comedy is for everyone. But I do think his refusal to pander is a big part of the reason why Generation X comedy lovers love him so much. I mean, that was supposed to be our thing, right? The generation that was never going to sell out. Remember this guy? Norm showed his trademark integrity even as a very young comedian when he got his first huge break on Saturday Night Live.
In publishing news, Magic Johnson has received a $5 million advance from Random House for his new book entitled What You Can Do to Avoid AIDS. Chapter 1, Don't Have Sex with Me.
an edgy, underappreciated Weekend Update anchor.
Oh, the best. Easily the best weekend guy.
Norm's integrity was put to the test when head of NBC Don Allmeyer wanted him to stop doing jokes about O.J. Simpson, his buddy.
O.J. Simpson's lawyers say they don't want the families of Nicole Brown and Ronald Goldman in the courtroom during the trial. They're afraid the presence of the family members will just remind O.J. of how much more killing he still has to do.
You don't mind if I ask you a question?
What's that?
I hear this story, and there's like this press release that you get your ass fired. Is that
Yeah.
true? No, you didn't get fired.
Yeah, they fired
No,
me.
they didn't fire you.
No, I'm serious. I talked to a guy that said I'm fired. And the Pope came out with a book this week, which contains a series of essays examining faith and morality in today's secular world and the changing role of the Catholic Church as it approaches the 21st century. The book is entitled, God Himself Told Me That O.J. is Guilty. He goes, oh yeah, I'm firing you there from the show. And then I said, oh, that's not good. You know? And then I said, why is that now? And he goes, oh, you're not funny.
Yeah.
And then I said, oh, Lord, that's even worse news.
Well, it is finally official. Murder is legal in the state of California.
Of course, we all know the real reason he was fired.
Now, I know Don Allmeyer, and just between you and me, he's an idiot.
Norm's refusal to not be funny even cost him the greatest sponsor of all time, the Man Grate.
What is the Man Grate, you ask? It is 100% made in America. Cast iron grilling grates.
Iron. You don't pronounce it iron.
Man Grates.
Iron?
That are
when you say iron?
They are revolutionizing the way people grill.
It should be iron. That's what makes English the world's toughest language.
What, Adam Egan? Is it true? You haven't heard of the revolution? It is
Because it's the toughest language to
me,
learn.
it's the easiest. Chicken, steak, has never tasted so good. Be like fucking Larry King. That motherfucker, I say iron, and he's up my asshole for fucking 4 days. Why are you laughing? You're making a mockery out of the Man Grate. Man Grate.